My visor's broken, so you're probably going to get loads of wind noise. I'll try and keep the speed down. It's quite breezy today. I'll shut my visor and see if it keeps any of the wind out. So what have I been doing? I haven't made a video for a fortnight. Not like me. Well, I got a phone call about 10 days ago from a mate of mine's wife, and she was very distraught. Now, this mate, I went to school with him. We've always had bikes, we've always kept in touch, same age as me. He had a bike accident. Car pulled out of a junction. 20 feet in front of him, and he was always a sod for speeding, and he didn't have a chance. He never had a chance. He just ran into the back of it. As an estate car, he ran in the back of it, went through the back window and ended up next to the driver. God, I've never seen these lights ever change. That's a first. I've never seen those lights ever change. I suppose people are starting to live up there now. Yeah, so he got airlifted to hospital in Cambridgeshire. And he was unconscious when they found him. And when he got to hospital, he started to come round a bit, but they were worried that he'd got so much damage. They put him in an induced coma, which is not good, is it? So I kept going up there, and the first time I went up there, the police were outside the room. This is before they put him in intensive care. And he said, "Do you know the chap in there?" And I said, yeah, I went to school with him. I said, "We've kept sort of close friends, really." I said, "How is he?" He says, "He's not good, mate. He's not good." I said, "Were you anything to do with recovering him?" And they said, "Yeah, these two officers here attended the scene, and I'm a traffic investigation officer, accident investigation, I should say." So anyway, they put him in this coma, and I actually went to the nurse's station and said, "How is he?" And he said, "He's very ill, he's very poorly. He's got major damage." He said, "That's why we put him in this coma, but we're going to be moving him to an intensive care ward very shortly." And I thought, this is not good. Anyway, I kept popping up there. But anyway, you come back to these three cops. He said, "Do you live locally around here?" I said, "No." I said, "I live in Suffolk." I said, "I've come out especially because his wife had contacted me and said that he'd had an accident. He's in hospital." Yeah. Well, he said, I said, "Well, what happened then? Do you know what happened?" He said, "Yes, we know what happened. He was breaking the speed limit. We got his helmet cam footage." And he said, "Has he got a YouTube channel?" And I said, "No." I said, "He only ever filmed his rides for himself, really." "What was he like as a rider?" I said, "Well, he always was fast." I said, "What sort of bike was he on?" And he said, "He was a Honda Fireblade." And I said, "That's about right for him." So I said he was, yes, he was over the speed limit, and the car had pulled out from a junction, and he ran in the back of it, and we've got it all on his camera footage. So anyway, they charged the driver with driving without due care and attention. Well, so what's he going to get for that? A slap on the wrist. But the nurse said that I I'd actually spoke to the doctor as well who was treating him, and I said, what's his chances then? Is it life threatening? He said, yes, very life threatening. He said that he's got about a 50-50 chance, probably less than 50 chance. So I thought, Christ, that's not good. Anyway, I asked the hospital to keep in touch with me, so I've been flying up and down there and been over to see his wife and kids and everything, and to make sure they're all right. And they've got the grandkids staying with them as well. So anyway, last night I had a phone call from the hospital and said, is that David? I said, yes, speaking. They said, oh, it's the nurse from Addenbrooke's. I said, yeah. It's about your friend. So we tried to wake him up from his coma, and he wouldn't come round. And we thought, well, we'll leave him for a little while and just see if he does come round on his own accord. Obviously, we give him drugs to bring them round, but they didn't seem to be working. And I'm ever so sorry to tell you that he's passed away. So that's another mate I've lost. Another funeral I've got to go to. This is a cheery old video, isn't it, eh? But that's what I've been doing. I've been so wrapped up with all that, and I'm going to turn off here. I've got a car behind me and he's getting impatient like they do. I don't believe it, coming my way. So we'll keep the speed down a little bit because I've seen some deer run across this road and I want to be able to stop. Yeah, these cops that I was talking to, I said, well, the faster your speed, the harder the impact. He said, exactly. I said, I got all that out of my system years ago, and I said, I've managed to survive, hit the odd deer and that, but that's about it. He said, yeah, well, we can't make motorcyclists slow down. They're the ones that hold in the throttle. And I said, well, they ought to get on the racetracks if they want to do that caper. So he said, yeah, I quite agree. Anyway, that was it. So I've lost another mate now. It's a bugger. I feel so sorry for his family and his grandkids. The grandkids are very young. But such is life. But you see, every time you get on the bike, no matter who you are, or what kind of bike you got, as soon as you start that bike up and get out on the road, you have spun the roulette wheel. And 99.9 times, the ball won't end up on your number. But just sometimes it does. And that's what happened to my mate. So, I'm going to talk about something a little bit more cheerful because you're going to be in tears in a minute. Interceptor 650. I've gone raving mad with it now. I've decided to do a second revamp because I wasn't very happy with it, and I'm well on the way with that now. I was trying to get it finished by Thursday so I can go to Two-Wheel Tuesday, but there's another little problem that's reared its head. Speedo, because the Speedo on an Interceptor is driven off the front wheel, and on the classic 350 it's not, it's driven off the toner ring. So I've got a way around that. I can get around that. It's not a major thing. So that's coming along. I thought I'd come out on one of the little classics. I've been shacking up to and from Cambridge on the house in Greenmont, and that's all back to standard. Don't want to run in the back of this guy. Surely he's not going down the A14, no. So with all this rushing around, I've had no chance to do any shopping. And so I'm going to the health food shop to get something to eat. What's going on here? Somebody going to let me out? It's been a really warm day today. Over we go. I don't know how much wind noise you can hear. Loads, I expect, because we are going, it is a sort of southwesterly wind here at the minute, and that's which way we're going. Audi drivers got the 4 circles of dumbness on the back. What is it about them? They've got to try and break the land speed record every time they go out. I keep running out of gears, I don't know why. So all my classics now have got standard gearing again. I've taken the 16-tooth gearbox's sprockets off and gone back to a 15. And incidentally, I found out that the Meteor and Classic 350, anything with a J platform engine, the gearbox sprockets fit the Interceptors. And you think, yeah, wheelie up the other side of the road. I don't know if you saw that, but which is all well and good. You get the nut all tightened up, then you find that the chain pitch is completely different for the Interceptor, so you can't use them. But they do actually fit. But they can't. You can't use the chain. So it's not that good, really, is it? I should have filmed on the way back, really. It would be a lot quieter for you, because I put this helmet on the grass and I backed the van out and backed over my helmet. Well, it just hit the front of it and broke the visor. So I bodged it up with some gutter bolts, and it won't stay shut. It won't stay open now. It must be fairly loud on the wind, because I can hear it here. It's whistling in my ears. This is the first time I think I've done a ride out with the new GoPro. This is on a media mod, which is all singing and dancing, so it doesn't break when you plug the microphone in. It doesn't break the connection like it did with the adapter. I'm going to park in the parked order bay. Why not? I'm entitled, you know. So there we are. 802. 5,196. Both bikes have done nearly identical mileages now. I do that for servicing. I just service both of them at a time. Just saves so much time. So there we are. Little classic 350. Yeah, Right, I'm going to go and get something to eat, and I'll see you very shortly on the next one. Bye bye.